Good evening. Welcome to a Tuesday session of Castface. I'm Kat. This is Buckets. As always, we've got Aaron. He's from Wales. Braden, Bray, and we've got Leon.
Hello.
We have not done a podcast in about 2 weeks because every one of us has had something going on in their social calendar. But before we start, drum roll, please.
You might want to tell everyone Leon's actually from and where Braden's from. Braden's from
Good old Brisbane.
Vegas.
Leon's from New South Wales.
In the Hawkesbury.
Now, before we start, let's all chime in. Happy birthday. Happy belated birthday. Leon?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're not going to tell us your age, are you?
I don't look a day over dead.
Take one up like 23 or something.
Yeah.
No one will ever know, right?
Happy birthday. All righty. Let's start before this thing starts counting us down. Tonight's topic is going to be about social media. We've been wanting to do this one for a while and rehash it. So let's start. Number one, is social media a curse or a blessing, Buckets?
I could think it's both. I mean, it's certainly working to our advantage, with podcasts such as this. But I do kind of find that there are a lot of trolls on social media, and something for which, I remember the days when if you ever had a dispute amongst your friends, you basically go out to the pub or you had them with a meal and you discuss your differences and you resolve them, right? But since the advent of Facebook, people just lose friends within seconds over nothing. It's like, oh, I don't like your political party. I'm going to hate you for the rest of your life. And that's the way it goes, before Facebook, these sort of, it never used to happen that people would just end the friendship, over just trivial stuff. But now it happens every single day, courtesy of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and many others.
Aaron, do you think that social media is a curse or a blessing?
In some ways, it can be a curse because obviously you don't know who you're meeting on the internet, and then in other ways it can be a blessing because you can reconnect with people you're not connected with for a very long time.
Braden, do you think social media is a blessing or a curse?
It goes both ways for me. I think that social media can be great for like job opportunities. If you look at the influencer market, people have boomed. You look at companies, they've benefited from social media, being able to be connected with the whole world. And like yourself, you're connected with so many different people that you don't know. I mean, how do you think we met each other?
Exactly.
We met each other through social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, social media can definitely be a very dark and toxic place. There are a lot of subcultures of, very jarring things. You typically tend to get desensitized over a period of time over the whole, whether it's war, whether it's racism, sexism, all those very awful things that happen in the world that you would usually not expect to see so often. So yeah, it goes both ways.
Leon, blessing or curse?
I'm definitely with Braden on that one because it definitely does go both ways. When the social media just started to slowly pick up, it was good. And if there was any issues and stuff like that, it could be dealt with straight away. And those people will be, off straight away. But now there's too many people on social media these days. There are too many trolls. You can't pretty much type something because if you type something, somebody's going to find a way to spin it and realize, hey, wait a minute, no matter what you've said here, even though you may not have intended it to go that way, we'll probably put you in a social media penalty box. And I should know my account's still on a bloody penalty box right now in Facebook. I'm about to shut down my Facebook page pretty soon, actually, and I'll be coming up with a different page just to get away from these trolls because the stuff that I type and stuff that I post, right, is never meant to be intended on, say, being, I don't know, being offensive, but there's always, but these days, and I hate to say it, but there's always some sort of Karen out there that will find a way to say, oh, wait a minute, he's typed this might be racist. The next thing you know, their bloody algorithms are going overtime, and they'll go through the dictionary, which will probably take them God knows how long, and realize this word here may have offended some country or some BS and stuff like that. I used to like social media, but these days it's just rapidly becoming a toilet. It's not real life.
I must agree. For me, I think it's a bit of mix, but as Braden and Aaron said, it's a mix, and I agree with you in buckets. It's a mix of yes and no. It's a yin and a yang if you look at it, because, Braden, Aaron, and myself, we met on social media, and we became instantly close like that, and we became best friends. And they met Philip on social media, and it's good when you meet people, and then when you have your friends and you have family on there, whether you're in Australia or around the world. It's a way of socially connecting us worldwide, in real time, to talk to each other, to see each other physically. Even though we're oceans apart, it connects you physically, it connects you mentally and emotionally. With us like that, we became a family. But the down part about it is that, as Leon said, when it comes to the trolls, when it comes to cyberbullying, when it comes to people attacking anyone on social media, we don't look at the statistics of suicide rates in Australia and around the world when it comes to social media, because social media tends to make people suffer depression and end up, hurting the people that they love. And it tends to loss of life or loss of lives, if I may say so. I may not like TikTok, for example. I don't agree with TikTok. I don't want TikTok, but other people see it as a great thing, because so many people are on it. You can do dance moves, you can do so many creative things, and celebrities are on it. But same as Twitter. I used to have Twitter. I closed it down because I just don't see the point of it. But I think it's a blessing, but it's more so a curse when it comes to cyberbullying. Let's look at the next question. So cyberbullying and trolling goes hand in hand with social media. Should we create a cyber 10 commandments of what to do and what not to do buckets?
I think we actually should. I think there should be a cyber 10 commandments. Back in the day when there was 9MSN, there really wasn't a 10 commandments, but there kind of wasn't, in the sense that they had things like don't give out personal numbers to people, don't tell people where you live because they could stalk you. I mean, they never really said it, but there was just common sense, right? There's like other things like I remember the first time my family got the internet, and my mum said, you can go on the internet for as long as you want, on the condition you talk to no one. Didn't stop me. I talked to a lot of people. I talked to a lot of women, but it was, but I can understand why she was a bit afraid of that, because anyone can just stalk a bunch of vulnerable children and lead them to people's houses and do all sorts of things. And I've actually heard of friends of mine where that's actually happened, where they've lured them to their house and then all sorts of crazy shit has happened. Excuse the language. So yes, I think that there really does need to be a 10 commandments when, especially today, where everyone's trolling and more people are spending more time online. There needs to be some sort of, basic common sense list before getting online, and because there are untrustworthy, crazy people online.
Braden, do you think the social media should have a cyber 10 commandments of what to do, what not to do?
Yeah, I think it's time that we do invest into some sort of thing like that. Mainly
Yeah.
because a lot of people can be ruthless on social media. There's also a lot of people that can catfish and can pretend to be someone else.
Yeah.
You know, there's already things in place to really kind of help minimize that. You know, I know from my experiences on Facebook, you know, when I first joined Facebook, I made an account and they thought I wasn't being myself. So I was locked out of that account and I still can't get into it to this day. So I had to make the account that I already have on my Facebook right now. So it shows that there is some sort of movement into creating, a safer space so people don't, you know, kind of fall for that or they get scammed. But it does still happen. And I think there needs to be some sort of groundwork to do with that. So yeah.
Aaron, same question. Do you think social media should have a kind of cyber 10 commandments of what to do, what not to do? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they should have some sort of rule book kind of thing of what to do and what not to do and what to say, because as you all said, that when you type something, it can come across as nasty or sort of intimidating and stuff like that, you know.
We've all experienced some kind of cyberbullying and trolling. Leon, same question. Should social media create a cyber 10 commandments of what to do, what not to do?
I wouldn't be surprised if they already do have a quote unquote cyber 10th commandments. It's just a matter of just reading the fine print when it comes to your social media stuff. I wouldn't be, but the problem is, right, is they try to weasel it in so it's like really technical and stuff like that. So unless you're a super nerd that can read the fine prints and stuff like that and this stuff, you're not going to really see it. You're not going to really notice it. I wish they did have it just basic. It's like basic 10 commandments like thing. That's the way it should be done. So that way people who couldn't be stuffed, reading 50 million bloody words just to get to what you can and what you can't do. It's simple. I really believe that there should be like a 10 commandments of social media. But not in the technical sense, the basic sense. Make it easy for everybody to understand properly.
I agree with Buckets, with you, Leon. I agree with Aaron and Braden. This is my quick take on it, is that when we all first joined Facebook after MySpace, I felt MySpace was a bit safer. And then Facebook came along and it really blew up globally in a great way. And I believe now in the more modern society of modern world of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, we've all experienced cyberbullying. We've all experienced trolling. We've all experienced hate. We've all experienced threats. We've all experienced everything in between. Now, I think if you're going to join Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or Twitter, I think these social media people who make these, social media things should really look at it and go, we have young ones as low as 14, 15, 16 on social media. We need to really have rules. How old are you? Why do you want to join Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Twitter? What is the reason behind you joining? Is it to friends? Is it to create videos? Is it to watch? Is it to talk to family? We need proof that you're smart or you're old enough to do it. And if you're not, there should be a thing saying, unfortunately, you're too young to join these platforms. We can't allow you to join until you are of legal age. And I think that's the bad parts about it, which leads into my third question, if I may ask. What are the benefits of social media? As I said, is that there should be a do or do not. There should be a lockout law, which is if you're underage, you cannot join any platform. If you're going to join, you cannot intimidate, you cannot threaten, you cannot harass, you cannot bully, you cannot intimidate, you cannot write nasty comments. You can't be stalking someone's Facebook page. You can't send a friend's request from another page. You can't message them. follow these rules or else you're not allowed to join. What do you think?
Well, the only issue I have with that is then it's no longer social media, because the whole point of calling it social media is you do exactly that. You basically talk to as many people as you can, because that's how it spreads. I mean, that's what social actually means. You're talking to a whole range of people. And the other thing is, maybe I do agree with listing a reason why you're using said sort of platform.
Yeah.
But it would be really hard to regulate that. I mean, because like, you know, you could just go, oh, I'm using this for work, or I'm using this for leisure. The truth is, people will always have their own reasons for why they want to use social media, whether it's for work or for leisure or something illegal. But unless there's a definitive reason that you can prove why they're using it, it's going to be really, really hard to regulate. And also, the other thing about IDs and things like that, that's going to be really hard to regulate as well, because there's a whole bunch of privacy laws that would be broken as well. And people just wouldn't stand for it, basically. You know, even though I think it's probably a good idea, it's a really, people's privacies will be, will most likely be destroyed by providing those sorts of identifications and stuff like that.
Aaron, what do you think the benefits of social media are like? Do you think, as Bucket said?
I think the benefits are sort of meeting loads of different people from all walks of life and stuff like that. And obviously there is a side to social media that is a nasty side, if that makes sense. You know, it's like as Bucket said, what was it?
I can remind you. I'll send you texts.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone's closed captioning this right now.
You're saying about the benefits of
Just press
social
rewind,
Yeah.
just in case you didn't know.
You're saying
Like,
something about the benefits of social media?
Yeah, like obviously you can't monitor, like say a 13-year-old wants to join Facebook for example, that doesn't stop them from making up a fake
Account.
birth date to get into Facebook. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's like there's not a way of stopping that happening. You know? Yeah.
What do you think, Braden? What are the benefits? And what are the non-benefits?
Yeah.
Wait, so what are we talking about? The benefits, or the
benefits.
non-benefits?
The benefits.
Okay, cool. Okay. The benefits of social media is that it can get you a job. It can get you more exposure. I know that, you know, from being someone who is young, who was born into the social media age, I will disclose my age. I am 20. Okay, so I was born in 2000. Okay. And, you know, I got to see influences. I got to see people just do the things they love. They turned their hobbies into a business kind of measure, and they were able to make millions upon millions of it and have this brand and have this company. And I think, you know, you look at TikTok's algorithm is so beneficial because the For You page is just something that it will give you anything and everything, like all types of content. I get content from people that have like 1 or 2 followers, and I also get content from people that have like millions upon millions of hundreds of millions of followers, like Addison Rae, the D'Amelio sisters, Lil Huddy, like so many different people that have these big platforms. And, you know, some of them just got on camera and just started dancing to like popular songs. That's how they got their fame. So it's so simple. And I think that, it's the future. It's the future of being financially stable and having the lavish life that you desire. Yeah.
Leon, what are the benefits?
Well, the benefits of social media, I think might have been what Aaron said straight off the bat, reconnecting with old friends and stuff like that, or old school buddies and stuff. That's one of the benefits of social media, because I didn't even know half these people that I'm in contact with on my Facebook were actually on Facebook. I didn't even know how, I didn't even realize. So I reconnected with a few friends. I've actually, caught up with a few friends as well by social media. So that's one of the best things about it. They want to have like some sort of get together and stuff like that. Man, I'm down for it. I'll go there and say hello and just reminisce and all that sort of stuff. That's one of the benefits of social media. But at the same time, there's more trolls than there are actual people out there. You type in something and someone's going to come up with snarky and stuff like that just to try and make your day, what would be a good day, into like a really miserable one.
Actually,
Let's look at the the non-benefits. Go.
the cons.
Yep.
Well, again, I think I've mentioned this before. It's really easy to lose friends very quickly on social media. The thing is, I've kind of found that, but even though you might have, say, 400 friends on Facebook, you probably only talk to maybe 5 that you're actually really close to. So few people so few adults, I should say, actually have more than 30 friends that they see on a regular basis. The average is about 5 or 6, and you're doing really well if it's 10. But this business about having 400 friends, I mean, how many do you actively speak to regularly? And I bet you any money it's not 400. It's probably 4. So that's one thing about Facebook. And I also kind of, one of the other bad things I don't like about Facebook is that, and I've fallen into this trap as well, is that Facebook projects an image of all these really, really good things happening to said people. But that's only one side of the story. And so when you basically see that everyone else is having a great time except you, that can make you really, really depressed. But that's the side that you're seeing from because let's be honest, when you take a picture of something and you put it on Facebook, it's usually 90% of the time, it's going to be something based on something that makes you happy. And you will put that on your page, and that's the side that you want to show everyone. But there's a really good chance, if you're really depressed or miserable or whatever, that you're not even going to post that on Facebook unless you're really peeved off about something. But for the most part, all your pictures, they're going to be pictures of you on the beach, or you with the love of your life, or you with your happy family and stuff like that. Well, someone else who's in feeling terrible is looking at that and going, where did my life go? And you raise the level of depression and suicide when you look at other people and you're jealous of those other people's lives. Like, what's wrong with my life? Because all of my friends that I've known, his life is going well, except mine. What am I doing wrong?
Exactly.
So I think that's a real problem with Facebook.
Do you agree, Brad?
And hang on, before that, just to add something that Aaron said earlier on, about banning accounts, and they could just relaunch another account and stuff like that. There is something that the techs can do, but it'll only be like a temporary stop measure, because there is nerdy ways around it. I don't know why these companies or whatever, these social media companies, don't introduce IP banning. But the problem is, if you do some IP banning, what will happen eventually to get around it, and I don't encourage this, by the way, and anybody, so if anybody comes looking for me or comes looking for Kat, Braden or Aaron or Buckets, don't come looking for me. You get a lot more publicity that way.
Look, we've got
what will happen is these guys who are banned will probably use a term called IP renew or IP config renew or one of those commands, which will give them a new IP account, and they'd be able to sign up again the same way. So it's a balancing act.
And look, we've got 9 minutes and 23 seconds. If it ends, I will press record again. Let's get into it before it counts down. Can we realistically live without social media quickly?
Okay, you used to be able to do it, and I'm sure that there's a way that people can go camping and without social media. But to be honest, we're so ingrained in social media. It's become part of our lives. It's also become, you know, part of the DNA or stitching of our society, that I think it would be to go off social media would be just too drastic.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
I mean, I was born before social media. I was born at the end of 81. So at the time we didn't have social media. We didn't have any of these platforms until later on in life. Can we live realistically without social media? The answer is no, because we rely too much on technology. We rely too much on our phones. We rely too much on what's happening in the world with our friends and family, that I don't mean to sound silly or stupid, but it's kind of like a walking tabloid magazine.
It is.
It's kind of like a gossip rag where everyone wants to know everyone's business. And, you know, at the end of the day, if you don't have social media nowadays, you're considered a weird person. What do you think, Braden?
Well, I got the social media at the ripe age of 12. That's when I started getting into it. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard because, like, you know, in my childhood, it was so easy. You didn't think about anything. I mean, that's what children do. They just do anything that they want, and they just don't think twice. Whereas, like, you know, you get older and you kind of get into it, and, you know, kind of you start learning about the world. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think for someone like me who sees social media as like a business opportunity, as a way to make connections and whatnot, and I know how dangerous social media can be, even just by watching people have these amazing lives. You know, you look at yourself and you're like, damn, why aren't I skinny? Why don't I have that? Why don't I have a BBL and like a slim waist and big boobs? It's just,
I got big boobs, and I can tell you the answer to that is because I eat too much.
Leon's like,
it's
so
so, you know,
you're adorable.
Going back to my point, yes, I don't know if I could realistically live without social media because of how much of a benefit it's been.
I definitely can't live without social media because we've been brought up in that social media age, and then we're constantly on our phones. And, like, I can't go a day without looking at my phone or like my laptop or whatever, you know. So it's like, yeah, we definitely can't give up social media.
In the next 5 minutes and 19 seconds, let's ask the last question. Have we turned ourselves into a brand instead of an identity due to social media?
Yes,
Quickly.
I think we definitely have. We've gone from an individual identity to an actual brand. For every time you have a Facebook, you're effectively a brand because people judge you according to what you put online, what you say, what you think, whatever. Even on the Facebook thing, it says, what to say? Tell me what you think or whatever.
Yeah.
Or what you're thinking or whatever.
What do you think about,
Yeah, what's on your mind or whatever. So whether you like it or not, the minute you have a social media account, you are effectively a brand. Just as much as Mel Gibson is a brand, just as much as Goldie Hawn is a brand.
Quickly.
You are all currently brands, including me.
Okay, all together. Leon, have we turned ourselves into a brand instead of an identity? Yeah.
You know what? I actually think you're right about that. I think, we are turning into a brand. When the moment you sign up to social media, you become your own brand. It's just a matter of putting your finishing touches to your own brand.
What about you, Braden?
Yeah, because you present yourself in such a way that you wouldn't in your real life. You know, as much you could try so much to just present yourself how you are and what you do with your life, but you know, that's all based on likes and engagement and comment and what people say and will people follow you, will people unfollow you, will people troll you, you know, it all, like, yes, you can be yourself, but it's not the person that you are when you're going to bed at night or you're in your own house or you're off social media. So
Aaron,
different.
have we turned
Yeah.
ourselves into a brand?
I'd say we have, because obviously you put the side of yourself you want to put out there on social media. You know, it's like nobody knows what's going on behind closed doors, and then yeah.
Lastly, I'm just going to say about this is I do believe we've turned ourselves into a brand. As Bucket said, we put every single piece of information about our lives on social media. I'm part of that.
Okay.
I post photos. I post what I think, whether it's political, whether it's not political, whether it's for friends, whether it's not. And I think it becomes like an entrapment of, we are living in a non-realistic world of cybering, and we've forgotten what it feels like to really connect. Like send an old-fashioned, send a letter old-fashioned by mail, send a card by mail, give a phone call, go knock on your neighbor's door and say, hi, how are you doing? Have a conversation, meet for coffee. I think that's become such a modern sort of different way of communicating with one another. And they
Or send an email to your neighbor.
Which, by the
send an
way,
email.
but even that in itself is
Yeah.
like a brand, because your friends are judging you based off the character you are,
Yeah.
like a corporation.
Yeah.
So you're still a brand.
Take, for example, CatSpace.
Exactly.
We are all using it, and not just as a family and close friends, but we're also using it to connect others to our
Quote-unquote
platforms. Yeah. And, friends and
Yeah.
family and, viewers out there. To our subscribers, to our viewers, let us know what you think of our podcast, social media. Is it a curse or is it a blessing? What do you think of what we just said? Let us know in the comments below. When you go to YouTube, type in CatSpace, you'll find us. The subscribe button is just there where Aaron was showing Aaron and Braden. And there's a bell next to it. Make sure you click that. We're also on Spotify. We're also on anchor.fm. So if you don't have time to watch the video, you have time to listen to the audio. Thank you so much, Buckets, Aaron, Leon, and Braden, for joining us tonight.
And one more thing, since we've got like
A minute.
1 minute left, since we've acknowledged ourselves as a brand, can you send us money or something so we can get some proper freaking advertising, man?
There's a difference between brand and
Not a
pyramid
charity
scheme.
here, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, jokes aside, thank you so much for joining us. Until then, we're going to bring you another fun podcast next week. Stay tuned. We'll get to figure out how to use that other platform. Until then, good night. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys soon. Don't forget to subscribe. And thank you so much for hearing us. Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.